I used to have several sites. Now I kind of like the grower's edge. It gives me that cash max. You can tell it which markets you're looking for, and it will tell you what your highest net back is based on the price they're paying at that time and the basis that they're paying. And that's pretty handy because I don't have to go to so many different sites.
Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's June 11th, 2013. I'm Logan Burgess. To my right here is Brock Shimano. Well, Brock, let's jump into fire tip, see how the grain's traded here one day before the June WASDE report. As we can see here, a lot of strength across the board. Old crop corn up 9.5 cents. New crop corn up 4 3/4. We saw continued strength out of the old crop soybean market, picking up 28 3/4 there. New crop beans up 8. Chicago wheat picking up 7, Kansas City wheat up 4. If you guys want live quotes over at your home or office for tomorrow's WASDE report, visit us at grainhedge.com. You can take a no-obligation trial of the platform that you see here on GrainTV. But, you know, Brock, we continued to see soybeans, though, show strength here today. What was kind of your take on the action there?
You know, I think there's a couple things driving the soybean market in particular. We saw a much weaker dollar index, so I think that was pushing a little bit pressure to the upside for soybeans.
Right.
That also flowed over into wheat. As we know, when the dollar gets a little bit weaker, that's going to cause our prices to be, or excuse us, our commodities be more competitive on the world front, so
right.
we're going to have to drive the prices up. You know, the second thing I think was driving soybeans, especially in the old crop, was stronger cash basis levels. We've gotten some early reports across the country of basis being driven higher by about 5 to 10 cents already today. We could see that continue to move a little bit higher as we start to get more reports across the countryside.
Right.
Well, let's take a look at the July contract for the soybeans on the daily chart here. You can see this last bars where we were trading here today up to 1540 is the high mark that we hit. We did close near the highs here today, and that's important to note because that's the highest level that we've seen since back here last September 14th is when we actually hit that high of a mark on the front month futures contract for soybeans. So a lot of strength in the old crop soybeans right now. Yep. There's incredibly tight stocks, which leads us into tomorrow. We're getting the USDA WASDE reports.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in tomorrow's action, I think the big numbers that people are going to be watching are the new crop ending stocks. Let's take a look and see what the market's expecting there. As you can see here, this table outlines 2013-14 U.S. ending stocks of corn, soybeans, and wheat. The middle column here is what the USDA reported in their May report or projected in their May report. The right column here is what the trade's expecting out of tomorrow's numbers. As you can see here, the big changer is going to be corn. Market expectations are for 200 million bushels taken off of U.S. ending stocks. Really driving that is expectations for a lower planted acreage number. If we look back to the May report, we saw the USDA report 97.3 million acres planted and projected a yield of 158 bushels per acre. Certainly after this spring, expectations are for some acres to be taken off. We wouldn't be surprised if we saw 1 million or 2 million acres taken off the projected acreage number in tomorrow's report. Yield is a little bit of a toss-up. Not quite sure if the USDA is going to revise yield lower yet. But historically, when planting paces have been this slow, we have seen the USDA make both a acreage and a yield revision lower. So certainly that's going to be driving lower ending stocks there for corn. Taking a look, though, at soybeans here, expectations are for slightly higher U.S. ending stocks, up 3 million bushels there. You know, and kind of a similar story there. A lot of acres lost in corn. There's some speculation that we might see some of those acres moved into soybeans, resulting in a higher U.S. ending stock number there. And wheat, kind of a similar story to corn there. Certainly the wheat crop has had a hard time here this spring based on some of the weather. And as you can see here, the trade's expecting 30 million bushels lower projected U.S. ending stocks of 13-14 wheat here in tomorrow's report. As we said, though, we'll keep you posted on that. When that report comes out tomorrow, that'll be dropping at 11 o'clock Central Time. Brock, though, we will be getting some old crop numbers as well. You want to kind of detail that?
You know, it really seems like this report is going to be mostly production focused, especially on the new crop, but we do have to keep in mind that we are looking at the old crop still. You know, there's not a big revisions expected for corn or soybeans or wheat. Most of that information is already digested by the market. If we do deviate substantially from what is expected, that's when we might see some movement in the old crop prices. But, you know, for wheat, I think is going to be the big one to watch. That marking year came to an end on June 1st. So we could see a little bit of a revision there, but I think the USDA is going to really hold off until the quarterly grain stocks on June 28th to make any revisions to the old crop expected ending stocks.
Yeah, certainly. We don't have a lot of new data to go on here from the demand side, so I think you're right. A lot of analysts out there aren't expecting big changes on the demand side for the new crop as well. But as we said, the big numbers that people are going to be watching are planted acreage on corn and soybeans tomorrow and expected yield. Bottom line, people looking for 200 million bushels, taking off 13, 14 ending stocks for corn. As I said earlier in the show, if you guys want to watch the markets trade live tomorrow for yourself, visit us over at grainhedge.com. You can take a no-obligation trial of the Fire Tip platform that we use here on GrainTV. In general, though, that's what the market's looking for out of tomorrow's report. Thanks a lot for joining us on GrainTV. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow for the USDA WASDE report.